Hey friends, my name is Erin and today we are talking about minimalism and how to declutter your bookshelf. Minimalism is something that I've been really getting into recently. It all started when I watched the Minimalist documentary on Netflix, which I highly suggest you add to your list and watch it because it totally changed my life and kind of started me on this minimalism journey. From then, I have been watching as many minimalism YouTube videos as I possibly can, literally consuming them all in, and I've recently discovered that I should probably make a playlist of my favorite minimalism videos so I can rewatch them when I need a little bit of support. But since then, I've gotten rid of so many things and really so many things from my life that I just don't feel like I need anymore. And I've been having so much fun doing it. I've been listening to also some other resources I have been using are the Minimalist audiobooks, which I will leave linked down below if you guys want to check those out. And also other YouTube videos and a couple of different minimalism books that I will actually be speaking of in a different video, but the main one that I just recently read was The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, which it was so good, and the main thing that it helped me with is my unread books. But I've just been so into it and so happy with releasing a lot of things in my room. I just have this one room and I want it to be able to be a space where I can feel happy with, I can feel relaxed in, and I can get done different kinds of work and activities and things like that that I want to be able to get done. And having it being cluttered all the time, it makes it not a place that I want to be in. And my bookshelves, I love my bookshelves. My bookshelves are Books in general are something that make me very happy and make me feel complete. It's okay to keep things that maybe make you happy as long as they make you happy. You know, you do want to release things in your life, and I have gone from 6 bookshelves down to 4 bookshelves. I used to have a bookshelf over there and then another one right here, which I am in the process of selling both of those. So I just have my wall of books, which is the original books that I had, and I feel so happy about how everything's been turning out. I still have a long way to go and I'm still working on things, but I'm so happy with my progress, and I only just started on Christmas Eve, which is just so crazy. So like I said, I do have a long way to go still, but I have that initial shock of getting rid of a ton of stuff and kind of seeing how it's been. I'm still consuming a lot of resources and learning so much more about minimalism and spreading the minimalism and just being very happy with where I'm at. And I'm still learning and all of that thing, so by no means am I a professional, but I thought that I would share with you guys how I've been doing on my minimalism journey so far and my 5 tips to declutter your bookshelves. The main reason I wanted to do this was because my bookshelves are something that I love so much, but I do feel overwhelmed with the amount of books that I have and bookshelves that I had, and so I looked up videos, but I couldn't really find any that really helped and resonated with me. So I decided that I would kind of make my own video, and I'm hoping that it will be inspiring to somebody. Like I said, I have gone down 2 big bookshelves. I have gotten rid of them, or I'm in the process of getting rid of them and selling them, and I'm so happy with where I've come. I've gotten rid of so many books. I've made a ton of money selling a lot of my old stuff that I was never ever going to actually use, including clothes and books and furniture and just a lot of other odds and ends. I've gotten rid of stuff and I've given them to my friends. There's always somebody in your life who will probably be able to use something that maybe you're not planning on using. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like I said, I still have a long ways to go, but I thought that it would be kind of fun to share with you guys some tips because I know that everybody watching this is a book lover and I am too, and I just thought that it would be fun to show how you can be a minimalist in the books that you own. The first thing that I started with was my TBR shelf. I think that I had over 200 or 300 books on there, and right now it's sitting at around 50, I think, and I'm so happy with the way that that turned out. But my number 1 tip for the TBR shelf is, am I going to read it in the next year? Now again, some of these tips are from The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. I did want to mention that. So I did get some of these from there and they have helped me and evolved my ideas into this list. The TBR shelf has gone down at least 100 or 200 books and I'm so happy with it. I read about 50-60 books a year, and right now I have around that amount. I'm still planning on decluttering and getting rid of more of these books that maybe I'm not going to read, but my number one tip is, are you going to read it in the next year? Basically, if you're not going to read it in the next year, the chances of you reading it in the year following that is very, very slim, and if you really, really need that one book, you can rebuy it. Another thing that I noticed is that a lot of the books on my TBR shelf didn't spark joy when I picked it up. And they were books that have been sitting there already for quite a long time, and then I am just going to sit there because they're just going to sit there because I said that I do want to read them, and maybe I do want to read them, but maybe I think the copy that I have is ugly, or maybe the copy that I have is damaged, or it's just not in good condition. I bought it because it was cheap, whatever the idea may be, it doesn't matter, but I don't like the copy and it doesn't make me happy when I look at it. This happened more times than not. Basically, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take all of your TBR books off your shelf, and you're going to make 3 stacks. You're going to make I have to keep it because I really want to read it this year. I really want to read it in the next few months. Right now, you're going to have a lot of books that you're going to really want to read in the next few months. Then you're going to have another stack that is going to be your maybe books. Maybe I want to get rid of it. Maybe I probably won't read it this year, so I am maybe wanting to get rid of it. I don't know. Then you're going to have your I totally do not want to read this book. I hate this edition. Whatever the case may be, you're getting rid of it and it's in your get rid of pile. The chances are your maybe pile is actually books that you don't want. When I took all of my books off and I made these 3 stacks and I put the books that I really wanted to read back on my TBR shelf, I looked at the maybe stack and I said, wow, I feel really gross when I look at this stack. Like, I don't actually want to keep these books. Like, maybe there's a part of me that actually wants to read those books, but if I do really want them, I will rebuy them at some point. That stack is just a stack that I'm just like, I don't really need anymore. So I put it in my no pile. And sometimes, you know, there is a book that you're like, I do really want to read this, but it's just like a feeling about it. Just get rid of it. You'll feel so much better, and it'll help you with all the other processes, and it'll help you through this whole journey if you choose to be. Another thing from the life-changing magic of tidying up is, does this spark joy? I actually just today went through my children's books, and a lot of the books were very sentimental to me. They were books that I remember my mom reading to me or my dad reading to me. Maybe they were books that I got from my grandparents. Maybe it was a book that like my aunt wrote in for me, and I loved those books. But there were also a few books that I couldn't really remember reading, or maybe I remember reading them one time, but they aren't something that I will want to read in the future or I will want to own. Maybe it's something that you just have feelings about when all these other books you really, really love and cherish. I got rid of all of those books. They didn't spark a memory where maybe I was sitting down with my mom and reading it. My mom didn't write in it. Something like that. I got rid of all of those books and it felt really, really good. This goes for other things on your bookshelf. Maybe it's some trinkets or something. Everything on my bookshelf right now, I need to go through my trinkets, but as of right now, everything on my bookshelf as trinkets go, I love. And I love decorating my bookshelf with Funkos, and I love decorating my bookshelf with a lot of other things, but most of them have stories behind them, and that's why I really love them. They spark joy, and I love having them on my bookshelf to look at. This also goes for really anything on your bookshelf, any books, magazines, textbooks, whatever the case may be. Does it spark joy? If you look at it and you get angry or you have bad memories with it, or maybe it was a book that you read a long time ago and you don't think you're going to reread, if it doesn't spark some sort of joy inside of you, just put it in the get rid of pile, and then you'll look at the pile and you'll be like, yeah, those are books that I don't want anymore. Another thing that I did was my series. So I'm not a big series person. I know that a lot of people are, but if you're not a big series person, I think that I have maybe 4 or 5, 6 series on my bookshelf. What I did is I took the first book, I saved the first book, but all the rest of the books in the series I got rid of, and I did this with almost all of my series. I think the one series that I kept was my Twilight series, and that's because I actually have a box set, and I love that box set. My grandma got it for me, and I do want to reread the Twilight series at some point, so I wanted to keep those, and that's why I kept those. But I did get rid of the Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. I got rid of Insurgent and Allegiant. I got rid of the Shadow Kids series by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I kept the first one, got rid of all the rest of them. I got rid of the Elixir second and third books, and I'm working on getting rid of the first one probably. I got rid of my Matched books, the second, Crossed and Reached. I got rid of so many more. Delirium, I got rid of Pandemonium and Requiem, and the short stories, I got rid of all of them because I knew that I haven't read the rest of the series at this point, or maybe I've read one book and I just didn't like it as much as the first one, which tends to happen with me a lot. I tend to really love the first book and then I read the second one or the third one and it just doesn't stick out to me like the first one did. So if I ever want to go back and read them, I'll read the first one. If I really want to continue, I can get them from the library. If I really still love them, which the chances of that happening are so slim, then I'll rebuy the book. You can always rebuy the book later and it's not going to cost you too much because the chances are you're not going to want to rebuy many of these books. At least I know that I would not. The next tip that I have is about all your other books, but this can be applied to any really books on your shelf. In the next year, are you going to reread these books? Are you going to reference them? Or are you going to lend them out to a friend? Some of my books on my shelf I love, but I don't think I'm going to read them in the next year, but maybe I will reference them, or maybe I'll talk about them to a friend and he or she will want to lend them out. They will want to borrow them and I will give them to that person. So sometimes I keep my books because I want my friends to read them, so I keep them, or I'll talk about them to somebody and then they'll say, oh, that sounds interesting, and I can just whip out my copy and say, here, read it right now. I love having physical books, and that's one of the big reasons why I like to look at them, but I also like to lend them out to my friends. So if you're not planning on rereading the book, if you're not planning on lending them out to a friend or referencing them in the next year or two, then get them off your shelf. They don't belong there. And there's just no point. So a couple of books actually just today I decided that I'm not going to read or reference them or anything like that, but I do know that one of my friends is getting into reading and I know that their books that were super popular that I semi-enjoyed, they're like cutesy contemporary books, but I know I'm not going to reread them or reference them or anything like that in the next year, so I'm going to be giving her a stack of my contemporaries that I read about 2 or 3 years ago, and I know that she's going to really enjoy them. And my fifth and last tip for decluttering your bookshelf are duplicates. Get rid of your duplicates, okay? I know that sometimes it's fun to collect ARCs, which are advanced reader's copies. I love collecting ARCs. I really do. I think that it's so much fun to find one in a thrift store or maybe a used bookstore, but get them out of your life. You do not need them. Sometimes I totally understand if it's your favorite author or your favorite book and you want to have an ARC of it, because right now I'm looking for Colleen Hoover ARCs and I'm trying to trade some of my other ARCs for Colleen Hoover ARCs, and I totally get that if it's your favorite book, or maybe it's a book that you got at BookCon and you waited in line for like 2 hours for that book and you finally got it and it was like Gemina or something. I totally understand that, but if it's just a book you traded because you were like, I liked this book and it would be fun to have the ARC, or I had 2 copies of The Fault in Our Stars. I actually have 3. One of them my mom got me when she was in Mexico, and it's really cool. It's packaged in a plastic bag because I guess that's how they package their books, and it's in Spanish. I'm never gonna read it, but I do really want to keep it because she got it for me, and I think at some point I'll probably release it. I don't know when that'll be, but and I have a copy that's signed that has a video of John Green in the back, and then I have another copy that I read, it's just a regular hardcover, and then I actually had a paperback. I got rid of the paperback and I'm working on getting rid of one of the hardcovers right now. Duplicates. I also have a lot of books and then I have their ARC. I don't need the ARC, so I'm getting rid of a lot of ARCs, putting them on books for trade, and just getting them out of my life. Those are all of my tips for decluttering your books. I hope that this was helpful. I recently have just gotten rid of so many books and I feel so good about everything that I've accomplished. Honestly though, it's like I love having my books, but I want to be able to look at my shelf and feel proud about all the books that I see. I don't want to feel gross about some of the books that I have. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. Also, it just made me feel more freer and be able to just sit down and really enjoy reading a book and not feel stressed about all the books that I haven't read on my TBR shelf or anything like that. I like to be able to look at this wall and think these are all the books that I own, rather than, oh, I also have books in my closet and I also have books over there and I also have books over there. That is it. I know that doing my books has been probably one of the most difficult parts of decluttering and becoming this, going into becoming this minimalist that I want to become. There is still a lot of work that I have to do. I still want to spend more time on my bookshelves. I still want to get rid of more stuff, and maybe at some point I will want to do a room tour or something. I'll feel good about it. I have a lot more plans that I want to pursue so I can make my room a nicer place, and like I said, I'm still working on selling some of my furniture, getting rid of some of my books, and such like that. But yes, I am so happy to be able to share these tips with you. I really wanted to find a way to put my minimalism on my YouTube channel, and I know that it's about books, so I'm so excited that I came up with this and got to share this with you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know if you'd like to see more of this type of video, because I'm totally up for it. I loved making it. It was so much fun to compile my list and just tell you guys, and I've completely loved this lifestyle. Like I said, I'm going to be doing books on minimalism. I will do a book recommendation on minimalism, but I still have a couple more books that I want to read. So hopefully in the next few months, I'm still decluttering. I'm still getting stuff out little by little. About once a week I'll go through and get rid of more stuff, and it just feels so amazing to let things go. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know down below, and I will do my best to answer them. I hope this video was super helpful and fun for you guys like it was for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!